Namratha, and today I am going to tell about tissues. But what are tissues? What are they made? Tissues are made of cells. Cells make tissues, tissues make organs, organs make organ systems, and at last organ systems make an organism. So first we should talk about tissues. Tissues are of two kinds. One is plant tissue and another one is animal tissue. First, let's talk about plant tissue. Plant tissues are also of two kinds, meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are continuously divided into three types. They are apical meristematic, lateral meristematic and intercalary. So first, let's talk about apical meristematic. It is placed in the tip of the stem and in the root of the stem. It helps in the function of growth of tips, both tips, here and at last root. Now let's talk about intercalary. Intercalary helps in interbetween region of stem of the leaf to grow, to perfectly grow. It means it helps in the growth of leaf. Now let's talk about lateral meristematic. Lateral meristematic helps in the growth of stem. It means broadness, diameter of the stem. So this is all about meristematic tissues. Now let's talk about permanent tissues. Now permanent tissues are of two kinds, simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. First, let's talk about simple permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are of three kinds. They are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. First, let's talk about the first one, parenchyma. So parenchyma are of two kinds. This is chlorenchyma and arenchyma. Chlorenchyma helps in photosynthesis. It means chlorenchyma contains of pigment called chlorophyll. It helps in greenness, giving a green color to a plant and also in help of photosynthesis. This parenchyma have more space in the cell. It means if here is one cell, here is one cell. In this middle, there is more space. Now let's talk about arenchyma. Arenchyma helps in the plant to float. Mainly water plants have this cell called tissue called arenchyma. So in this arenchyma, here in this space there is a cavity. It helps morely to float. Now let's talk about collenchyma. If you come to here, you will find a bit difference. It is here it is in a bit triangular shape, and also if you observe this surface is in broad. So this broad surface helps in the bark of the tree. It means these are called dead cells. And this helps in the stem. For example, think that there is a wind coming, and if you observe, plant won't go. It will just bend like this and it will come to its original position again. So this helps in this is happening because of chlorenchyma. Now let's talk about sclerenchyma. It gives hardness and strength to it. So it is mainly in bark. It is also a dead cell. It is mainly in a bark. If you take a bark, it will be too hard. So that's why. So in that there is a tissue called sclerenchyma. Now let's come to complex permanent tissue. When we talk about simple permanent tissue, it has complete cell is in a same shape, same thing. But in complex permanent tissue, it's different. It means take three cells. There will be different shapes. It has different content like that. So these complex permanent tissues are of two kinds. They are xylem and phloem. First, let's talk about xylem. This xylem have four kinds of cell. They are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. So now, what are these functions? Functions are these are unidirectional. It means food will grow to roots, to shoots and also to leaves. It means they transport water, mineral, food and etc. Soil, water and minerals. Now let's talk about phloem. This phloem contains sieve tubes, sieve plaques, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and at last phloem fibers. So this phloem is bidirectional. It means it will carry food to roots to shoots and shoots to roots. It means every part will carry something to other part. So now let's talk about epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue are of three kinds: squamous, columnar and cuboidal. First, let's talk about squamous. Squamous are of two kinds. They are simple squamous and stratified squamous. First, let's talk about simple squamous. Simple squamous is in only one layer. It means it has a layer and then it has some small nucleus on it. You can find it like that. And now what is its location? Its location is in blood cells and alveoli of the lungs. Now let's talk about stratified squamous. This stratified squamous has multi-layered. It means it has so many layers. So think it has like this. It will be called as simple squamous. But when it has multi-layered, it will be called as stratified squamous. It means it has more nucleus and also more layers. You can find this tissue in our skin. You can see our skin has more tissues. More skin. So that's because of stratus squamous. Now let's talk about columnar. This columnar helps in absorption of the food. It means they are found mainly in digestive system and also in intestine. Now let's talk about cuboidal. When the word comes cuboidal, it means these tissues are also in cuboid shape. You can find this here in a cuboid shape, and here you can find that all cells or nucleus are in a bigger. It means a bit huge, more than that. So these are found in ducts of salivary glands, sweat glands, and also in lining of kidney tubes. So it means they're mostly found in glands. Now let's talk about nervous tissue. We all know nervous system is very important for our life. It means every information carries to our brain by nerves. And what are these tissues? So now let's talk about nervous tissues. Nervous tissues are found in brain, spinal cord and nerves. Now the structure of nerve. This is a nerve tissue, and here we can find some hair-like structure. These are called as dendrites, and you can find a cell body here. It is really a cell. It has nucleus and all. It is also called as soma. And now you can find a big structure, arm-like structure. It's called as axon, and it clasps the roots of the nerve tissue. It's called as axon terminals. Every information passes through these axon terminals to dendrites. Now let's talk about connective tissues. Alright, these connective tissues are divided continuously into so many types. First type is blood. We all know blood is very important to our life. If there is no blood, we are also not there. So this blood have three basic components. They are first RBC. It is also called as erythrocytes. So these erythrocytes are used to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now let's talk about WBC. WBC helps in defense. These WBC are divided into so many types. It means in this WBC cell, nucleus are in different shapes. So first, neutrophils. It has 3 lobes. And when we talk about basophils, it has an X shape. And eosinophils, it has 2 lobes. Monocytes, it has a bead-like structure. And lymphocytes, it has a large nucleus in a cell. So these all are very important, and also divided continuously into so many types. Now let's talk about platelets. So think that you got a heart here, then blood will ooze out, but suddenly after some time it will stop. That's because of this platelets. It coagulates your blood and stop oozing. Now let's talk about bone. Bone, we all know that bone is a framework of a body. Every person has a different shape just because of bone. So bone are also connective tissues. We all know that bone is jointed to us. Now let's talk about ligament. So many people confuses this place, ligament and tendon. First let's talk about ligament. Ligament means two bones connected to each other. And tendon means bone connected to muscle. Now let's talk about cartilage. If anybody touches your nose or ear, it will be too different. It means it will bend easily. That's because of this cartilage. It means it has a bone which can bend, and also it's just like a small filament. Now let's talk about areolar tissues. These areolar tissues are found mostly in skin and muscles, blood vessels, and also in nerves. It has so much of space in between it. And let's talk about adipose tissue. It's very important, and we all think that it is just about a fat. It means fat is very essential to our life. It means nowadays all are thinking that fat is not essential. But if we don't have fat, it will be too difficult to us. Now let's talk about muscular tissues. Muscular tissues are also of two kinds. They are voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary tissues are in our control. If you want to move a hand, I can do it. It's my wish. It's involuntary. It's in my control. And it has so many bands. It means if you think it is band, it has dark one and it has light one. It has dark, it has light. It is the structure of this. Example, skeletal muscles. Those are like that. And now let's talk about involuntary. Involuntary muscles are of two kinds, smooth muscles and cardiac muscles. Smooth muscles are found in systems, liver, all digestive system, respiratory system and all. And cardiac muscles, these are only special, unite. That's because it is only one muscle, one tissue. It's very important and it helps in the pumping of heart. If it gets infected, it will be just like that. We can't do anything. So we should take care of these cardiac muscles. It means simply we can tell also heart, because heart is made up of these cardiac muscles. It means tissues. This is all about tissues. Thank you.